and we'll have Mackenzie Gaby say the pledge for us, or lead us in our pledge.
Let's pray. Our kind, gracious Heavenly Father, God, we just love you. We just want to glorify your name in everything that we do and say and even think, Lord. And God, we just ask that you'll be with our board this new year of 2025, God, as we start out and getting ready to have a big snowstorm. And Lord, we just ask for your guidance, your wisdom, your knowledge, Lord, your supernatural knowledge. God, just pray that you'll be with those that have lost loved ones, be with our leaders, be with the leader that we've just lost, Jimmy Carter, be with his family, Lord. And God, we just ask in this new year that you'll just help everybody love more, help more, want to do greater things more. Just take a whole new strategy of attitude, Lord, this year. It's the old strategy is not working any longer, and we just pray that you'll help us to think anew. We love you. We praise you. We worship your name above all names. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. As we do not have any public comment, we will move on to the consideration of the meeting agenda. Do I have any recommendations?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Can we vote, please?
Chad and Ben. David. Voting is open.
I ain't got nothing. There it is.
Got a long way to go, bro.
That lets me do it again. I've done it.
Okay.
That's fine.
Motion carried.
Moving on to the approval of the meeting. Let's try that again. Meeting minutes.
Make a motion we approve the minutes as given. Second.
That was Mr. Chad and Mr. Barnes. Any discussion? Can we vote, please?
Yes, it's open. Motion carried.
I didn't get no vote.
Says you did.
Housekeeping. I didn't vote.
Does it match what you would have voted? Just reading your mind.
Announcements, Mr. Boyd.
Yeah, just a few, you have to see them listed there. Various meetings, the HUE committee meeting was today, Public Safety Committee meeting it just came from at 5 p.m. Next week, the Budget Committee meeting for the county, and of course the commission, the full commission is the 27th, and the 28th is the scheduled workshop, and also a combination of some typical business and workshop on the 28th, but then in the night, follow-up after that was strategic planning conversations. That'll be here. The regular meeting, as you see, is the 6th, and I went ahead and put several dates for you all to note in the spring that have been set for the top 10% banquet, the CT banquet, the Teacher of the Year banquet, and the high school graduation ceremonies. As you see, all those are pretty compressed. It's a very busy time of the year.
Will any of these change if we miss a bunch of school days?
I mean, there's that possibility, but right now I don't think it's a high probability. We will take all measures we can before we have to do that.
Superintendent's report?
Well, we'll start out with, and we'll turn the floor over to Mackenzie. Sure. You have your,
Yeah.
okay, good deal.
So I just went over some upcoming events that you guys might be interested in attending, and I reached out to all the local principals to see what they thought was most important for me to include. So I am going to start off with.
That'll work for you.
Hold on. Sorry. It says that it's on.
The light is turning red when she's punching it.
Yeah, that's the laser.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
She'll be your clicker.
Perfect.
I know, it's strange. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna start off with Fall Branch, and their homecoming week is coming up January 13th through 17th. This probably isn't something that you would want to attend, but they did want me to include it because it's helping their school spirit, and they have different spirit days each week. On Valentine's Day, they're having a school fundraiser for Parents Night Out, and so parents will be able to drop their students off at the school that night, and they're gonna have movie and games and food for the kids so the parents can have a night. And then their family reading night is February 26th at 6. And then they're also having a Donuts with Dad and Other Special Men on February 28th before school. And they had just had their Muffins with Mom last month. And then their Spring Fling Dance is March 14th, which will be a good fundraiser for them. And then they are having another fundraiser for their Spring Carnival on April 26th. If you want to go ahead and go on to the next slide. And then for grade, they wanted me to include something that had happened last month in December. They had a Christmas-themed STEM challenge day, and so they made miniature zip lines and catapults for Santa and their elves. And then some upcoming events that they have is in February, they are launching their project-based learning, which is going to connect their students with local businesses and organizations that they might have a future career interest in. And then lastly, they're going to have their family math night on March 13th from 5 p.m. to 6:30. And then Sulphur Springs is having their career fair January 30th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And this was actually completely student organized by their middle schoolers from 6th through 8th grade. And they're the ones that reached out to local business owners and other professions to come in and teach the students about it. And then they are having a Valentine's Day themed I Love Reading night on February 13th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. for families. And then they are also celebrating Read Across America Week from March 3rd to March 7th. And they want me to encourage any board members that would like to come and read to their students their favorite Dr. Seuss book. And then additionally, they're having their STEAM night on May 13th from 5:30 to 7. And then their last event of the year is going to be 8th grade promotion night on May 22nd at 6 p.m. And then for Westview, something that Dr. Stroop wanted me to have included is that they were recognized this year for the 2023-2024 school year last year for the Governor's Seal of Approval. And then their 8th grade night is going to be January 16th from 5 to 7 p.m., which is kind of just getting their 8th graders prepared to make that transition to Crockett. And then they are having their book fair on February 24th to February 28th. And then they're also having a Librarian Appreciation Day on April 4th. And then South Central has their family engagement that they have in the works of planning right now. There's not a date set yet. And then they are going to have their end of year award ceremony on May 21st in their gym. And then Boones Creek right now, they do have some events that they're planning, but they're not set in stone yet. The only thing that they do have set in stone is their 8th grade promotion night as well. It's on May 22nd, and this one is at 5:30. And then Grandview has a family math night that they are wanting to plan. Again, there's no date set yet, but it will be sometime during the spring semester. And then they are having their Read Across America Week as well from March 3rd to March 7th. It's also celebrated. And then Lamar is having their spring fling softball tournament from March 14th to March 15th, and that's going to raise some good funds for the school. And then they are having their sports banquet on May 13th. Then Bridgeview is having a field day in May. They have not set the date yet, but it's something that they're planning. And they also have their athletic banquet in May, but it also does not have a date set yet. But they said that they would get back to me on that. And then Boone, they wanted me to, you'll go back one slide, sorry. Thank you. Boone had a chorus concert on December 12th that they wanted me to include, and there will be another spring concert coming up. That doesn't have a date yet, but they did encourage me to let you guys know whenever that does happen. And then some upcoming events, they have a Key Club member induction on January 16th for the new members, and their debate team competition is on January 18th at Cookville, which is actually the qualifier for their national competition. And an additional event that they're having is in February. They don't have a date set yet, but it is going to be in February. They're having Meet the Blazers night, which is where they're going to invite their feeder elementary and middle schools to come and meet their current athletes that night. And then Crockett has their Kiwanis Spaghetti Dinner coming up, and that is planned by Key Club, and that's a fundraiser for the Key Club and the Kiwanis Club in Jonesboro. And that is going to be on February 15th at 4 p.m. They are also having a high school readiness night and silent auction on March 6th at 6 p.m. And their spring community blood drive is going to be in March. The date is not set yet, but it's going to be in the month of March sometime. And then their hostess state competition is going to be March 31st to April 2nd, which is also the qualifiers for the national competition. And if you notice that Jonesboro wasn't on there, I had talked to Dr. Street about it, and she said that they don't have any dates so far yet because she's only been in one day. But she said that she would get back to me on that once she gets a little more time with the teachers and some planning time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Rest of the items, are for board's awareness, public record. No action is necessary. We have enrollment updates, something that I did add in the enrollment updates for your information and your review. General overall population enrollment, and then we have some information around students that are enrolled in the TCAT or the TCAT program at the Boones Creek campus, and also dual enrollment that reflects Northeast State and ETSU currently. Some of those days at this point, it's kind of fluid, so we'll have the next board meeting, even though this might not be a monthly report as far as the TCAT enrollment and the dual enrollment, we'll have updated numbers at the next board meeting. Rest of the items, just normal reporting. Each month we report, as you know, Mr. Hale has all the monthly financials. Typically we go over those in the workshop, but with no workshop in December, if you have any questions, certainly reach out to me or Mr. Hill on any of that. And then field trip reports that don't require, the activity was pretty lean at this point. It'll pick back up next month. Maintenance report is just a link to the dashboard, and you can look at the purchase order information, or the work order information, for maintenance, and then the monthly personnel for December, and the updated grant report from Ms. McKinney, and nothing under other.
Thank you.
Question,
Go ahead.
from Mackenzie's great report in regards to students meeting the athletes and such. How are we doing as far as band members that are in band in the K-8 schools making contact with the band members that are at Crockett and Boone to stimulate interest so that when they go to the school, they continue in the band program? I know we had someone come maybe a year ago talk about wanting to increase things, and just wondered how that was going.
So when I talked to Dr. Gray, she did just mention that it was basketball, baseball, and cheer, I think is the 3 sports that she said. I'm not sure if they've had the band in the past years that they've done this, but that's definitely a good idea that I might mention to her. And then on the Crockett side of things, this isn't an event that Crockett's ever done before. So I don't know. I think Crockett does do good with implementing people and getting them into the band, though. So I might mention that to Dr. Gray for Boone, though.
Yeah, both directors and then the assistant directors, band directors, they've had high school band members go to the, actually, they went to the middle schools as high school band members to demonstrate, just show what they're doing in band to recruit. They did the recruiting tour early in the fall semester, and they'll continue to do that. Number-wise, I think we should see some increase in our middle school numbers next year based on their recruiting. And both ends of the, both North and South have 2 assistant band directors and then a band director, and so they're able to cover the K-8s more than they could previously. And so I think they're going to continue to recruit and grow those numbers.
Good.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
In regards to our TCAT enrollment, looks like we're declining this year in our numbers. I'm just curious, is there any particular reason? Do we know why? Or?
Yeah, I mean, the intent is at the workshop on the 28th to bring someone from the TCAT to discuss their program and also access for high school students, most importantly hours at the Boones Creek campus. What was stated is they're given opportunity to enroll, and at a certain point, if they don't enroll, then the seats open up to others, and our students did not enroll. So that's possibly some, not just lack of interest, but there could be some work to be done on how we can better connect students to the TCAT program. Thank you.
Anyone else? Moving on to consideration of the consent agenda. Is there a recommendation for that, Mr. Walters?
I put forth that we approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Mr. Walters, second by Mr. Fleener.
And if I may, these are only 2 items that are out of state. One of them had occurred, and this is for formal, I emailed all of you, at the end of in December about that. The Virginia, I was told this morning by the athletic director that they have chosen, because of the weather forecast, they're not going to that tournament. So it doesn't hurt to approve it, but they're not attending that tournament this weekend.
Any more discussion? Can we vote, please?
Voting is open.
There it is.
Got it?
Mr. Barnes? Okay. Motion carried.
Moving on into discussions and presentations, the capital projects updates.
Sure. Jake from Lewis Group, I believe, is on the screen. I don't think there's a lot of updates, but I think opportunity for Jake to give a quick overview and anything else that you want to share. Jake, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
you guys hear me?
Yes.
I'll be very brief, not a lot. Culinary at Crockett's closed out. Storage project at Crockett, you guys have the approved drawings and you're self-performing that work. I think we talked about that last time. Athletics, final payout has been processed for Boone and Crockett. There were some HVAC issues earlier this week. They should have been resolved on Tuesday. I haven't been given any updates after that. Security, Boone and Crockett are ongoing. Mara there who might stand up and give us an update on that. And then for Boone HVAC, we've sent, fee proposal was sent yesterday, and then our survey recommendation was sent on December 23rd, so that one's getting underway.
we chose to, as far as the rest of that program, I mean, the project information, we've chose to put that on the 28th workshop, since the board didn't have a workshop in December. So we have the survey on there tonight for consideration, but the rest of it will be discussed at the workshop.
Great. That's all I got, unless there are questions I can answer.
Mr. Quinn?
Would it be appropriate to ask him about this barge design services at this point?
Yeah, I mean, if he can answer any,
Jake, what about the two proposals on the survey? That barge design solutions was quite a bit cheaper.
Yes, sir.
And I just wondered if you'd worked with them before in the past, and what kind of job they've done for you in the past.
Excellent work. I've never had a bad job with them. They did my house survey for my own home, but they've always been very responsive, economical. I highly recommend them.
Okay. I just seen that ahead of time. I just wanted to ask you about it while you were on there.
Yes, sir. That's it.
I think, Jeff from Merit's here. Any updates for the board, Jeff?
Yes, Chris probably sent something, I've got some pictures.
Okay, good deal.
At this time, we did get the storefront for the security office put in, and I did have the electricians come and put the lights in, their part and the new part. As far as the abatement, we did get the abatement done over the Christmas vacation. I've got the wall cut for my new entry that's in the vestibule. I did get the doors took out so that I could put my new frame in. For me to put that frame in, I need to be able to pour my concrete back. So I'm waiting on my steel. Due to the holidays, the steel is a little further than what I thought, but I'm pushing every day. Every day I'm making a call. Where's it at on the progress? I need it yesterday. But as far as that, I'm gonna push them every single day. They will get a phone call from me. And we are making strides to get to where we need to be. But we did get all the abatement done. Everything's ready for that. I called the steel people for the lintel that's gonna go over the door. I gotta have it. I think I might have one more picture underneath there. In the hallway going where the secretaries was, I did get the people to come back that where that wall used to be gone, you had a cast of light that gave you more light. So I think where that door is on your left, that you can see how dark it is, I got with my electricians and I said, we need to put a light there. And so I went ahead and put a slot in for that, and electricians for the light. Nobody could be brighter than that. So I did get that taken care of. This is the door opening for the vestibule that's been cut and ready. It's ready for me to put a lintel in, put the door frame in, block up and brick around. All the brick that I took out, I saved it since that brick was been put in the 70s. And that way I've got resources to be able to use to put back. At Crockett, I'm still at the same stage waiting on steel, so I've really not had anything done for that as a update.
There you go.
Still the same pictures from last time.
Where's your steel coming from?
I don't have that name. I can find out. for you.
Well, I just wondered.
But I'm pushing them with, due to the holidays, I was hoping like last time I said, should be 2 weeks once it gets through that. But then the holidays has hit us and we've had some of this weather and they're trying to give me a certain date and I'm demanding it. I need it by next week is what I want. But I am where I am, but at least I'm in your corner. And they're gonna get a phone call from me every day till I get the steel. And once I get the steel, I can run it. So it's more or less cosmetic from that. Anything else?
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
DBHS
You guys
survey.
need me for anything else?
Still there.
I was gonna say, we can go
I
back to
didn't
Jake
notice
real
that.
quick. I don't believe so, Jake, unless any board member has a question for you. I don't think so.
Bye, Jay.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
See ya.
you.
y'all be safe.
Two.
I thought
He was
gone.
hanging in there.
I thought he was gone.
Stranded there.
Daniel Boone High School survey proposals. So I hope you've had a chance to look at those.
Sir?
Sir?
Ms. Urban,
Hey.
quality steel.
Quality.
steel.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fleener?
I make a motion that we go with Barge for the survey.
I can't get that pulled up, somebody.
Can you pull
I'm
that
still sitting here,
document up, that PDF?
I'm still sitting here, got my voting on the screen.
I couldn't pull it up at home. I had to pull it up here. I don't know why I was seeing strange, but that was the only piece I couldn't get to.
I had it the first time.
Where they out? Knoxville.
That's not the right one.
Nope.
It's the Daniel Boone High
It says
School.
19,000 up there.
There's one before it.
Go back up to the, where it says,
Right
there
Here,
you go.
yes,
there. Here we go. There we go.
I just had 10 and 6 up there. Which one are you looking
Is there two different ones, Jerry?
There was 2 bids received, and certainly Dr. Adams jump in at any time you
Here
need
we go.
to.
Yeah, we had a meeting out on the site and invited whoever wanted to come look at it and ask questions before they gave us a quote. And we had a couple different groups show up, and these 2 were the ones that actually gave us quotes. The third one did not return a quote.
Barge Steel is Knoxville, Tennessee. Or Barge Survey, sorry, not Steel. So
So they're surveying, what are they, I thought we was asking for a survey at,
this is a survey for the HVAC project.
oh,
Because of
okay.
the lay of the land and the type of work that will have to be done.
I had that survey in my head that it was with the
Yes, sir.
Chambersburg School Center.
You know, we have to, so the sequence is they have a developed plan or proposal for us to go out to bid
Okay.
for the HVAC project, but a survey is gonna be needed to finish the details. So that's why the need now for a survey of that area.
I'm confused. On the one sheet, it shows Barge at 10,670. When you go down to the next form, it shows 9,700.
Wasn't it 10%? Way I understood it. I don't know. But the 10%'s on, that's the Lewis group, it's 10% for whatever the survey's done. Is that right? Which would make it right.
Right.
That's correct.
So is that what is that the
So there's
reason?
9,700, and you add the fees for,
For Lewis Group.
okay.
It's the total cost.
And if I could just elaborate a little bit for what their plan is, we're trying to make sure that if we ever do an addition to Daniel Boone, it's set up under the ground so that we can connect to what we need to connect to. There's also a plan in the bid to try to get Atmos to carry out that natural gas line all the way out to David Crockett's property. So we have to know exactly where everything else is so we can get the natural gas line out there, because that's going to be probably the best, most efficient way to actually fuel this boiler system out there
You made that Daniel Boone.
at Daniel Boone.
So it would be natural gas.
Well, I mean, otherwise the option would be is to set several propane tanks on the site.
And they're running that gas line all the way to, I think, to that new subdivision by Ridgeview. We had a quote a year ago for about $100,000 to take it from 26 out to Daniel Boone, but now that they're all the way down, it'll probably be somewhat cheaper. But when we talked with Lewis Group and the engineers, that was their suggestion, is try to get natural gas out there.
Be a great move if we could accomplish.
The survey that's in yellow, would that be fenced at one point in time or no?
Talking about the site of where it would be built,
I just see on the picture, it shows the yellow survey line.
It's gonna be very close to where the old house sat.
yeah, because you know, the grade starts to go down very
Right.
quickly after that.
The only reason why I'm asking if they fence that, you know, that's part of the cross-country course.
Yeah, I mean, Lewis Group's been made very aware that we have an existing cross-country path that's gonna have to be worked around.
Okay.
Yes.
I was just curious. if
Yeah,
that
they would
fence
say,
that-
we got it, we know about the cross-country path. Yes, sir, I understand. No, they're aware of that, they are very, on top of that part.
Any more discussion?
The motion is to hire
Go
Barge.
Yes.
at, in
Total cost.
Is there a second on that?
Yes, Mr. Walters.
I mean, I just didn't have no experience with one of them much reason, I just wanted to make sure they were okay with it.
Let me vote.
Voting is open. Okay. Motion carried.
So let's move on to 8C. It is the survey proposals for the Jonesboro property.
Yeah, if you can pull that up, Ms. Money.
I think the tab's open, Gina. There you go.
Yep.
I think the question was asked about the topographic survey service piece was included, it can be pulled out. It was just, if the board wanted that level of detail, we asked for all of those things to be included.
I don't think we need a topo, do we? What's your thought?
I mean, we're not, at this point, gonna be constructing anything
Correct.
on that. We just asked what it would, you know, add that into the cost, it can be pulled out.
What's
Mr.
on the
Flanagan?
bid we got?
Sorry,
There's three of them.
there's three.
So we got one for 8,500.
Gina, can you just keep scrolling that, please?
Sorry, I'm working on.
I know you're.
Go ahead, lady.
There's one from Peak, one from McCoy, and then the other one is at the top, and it's Alley and Associates, or
Yes.
there's not a letterhead on that one.
Yeah, from
That came in an email.
Okay, so that was, so it looks to me like the Peak, yes, sir.
I was gonna make a motion, we go with the peak with 8,500 boundary survey, cause that was the cheapest one, but again, I don't have any
I'm second.
dealing with them, but.
Mr. Flair and Mr. Barnes is second. Any discussion?
Has anybody had any dealings with him before?
What's the name of Tommy's? TPI or whatever?
Yeah.
Mr. Fleener, I have, I mean, I don't know them, I used them to survey and divide that property that I purchased.
Okay.
I told, you know, as we were looking for services to send the bid information to, and we were trying to get as many locally as we could, that was on the list.
Okay. I just never heard of them before.
They're
That's really-
local, that's what, and they're from Johnson City, so.
Yeah, their office is right there on Boones Creek. When you go under the rail bridge, there's a house. That's actually their office.
Yes, sir.
Is there a time frame on this to get it done? I mean, I just seen the 90 days I guess the bid's good for 90 days.
It's good for, I mean, as soon as we initiate it and they schedule it, we want it done.
Okay, but they hadn't given us no.
We have.
It says to
That's not
complete
missing.
field work and deliver the certified within 90 days of your notice to proceed.
Okay,
The
okay,
bid's good for 30 days, but
okay. So in 3 months they'll have it done, basically.
Would hope a lot quicker.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? Can we vote, please?
Voting is open. Motion carried.
Yes, no, yes, no.
It's right after that.
Maybe.
Approval of purchase orders. So we can- At ACT,
Yes, you know, just starting with the first one, that's the annual cost for, associated with the ACT for our high schools. As you can see, $12,784.
Mr. Fleener.
would it be appropriate to purchase order 3719 and 4349, since both of them is for pre-ACT and advanced placement and pre-AP materials and service, bundle them together and approve both of them at one time,
If you would like, yes, sir.
please.
Second.
Mr. Fleener and Mr. Walters. Any discussion? How many times do we pay for the ACT for our students?
Take home issue with Ms. Rivers.
Well, these are materials, so this would be a one-time cost at this point in the school year.
Any discussion? Can we vote, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Trying to fire some time.
Voting is open. You good, Mr. Irvin? Motion carried.
Thank you. Purchase order 4363 for Preston Woodworking.
As you notice, this is ISM grant funds for David Crockett High School. They targeted improving their bookstore, and this is casework cabinetry, to upgrade their bookstore for their project of doing the school business project with their Innovative Schools Model Grant funds.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion, we approve 4363 BO.
I second.
Mr. Fleener, Mr. Walters. Any discussion? Can we vote, please?
Voting is open. You good? Motion carried.
Motion carries. Purchase order 4402 for advanced placements, AP materials for David Crockett High School.
Similar to the Boone purchase.
If you allow me to
Yes, sir.
group some more. How about 4402, 35770, 35771? Let's go ahead and bundle 4377 as well.
Second.
Just approve all four of them at one like if we could,
Any discussion?
because they were all pretty much
Mr. Hagan.
self-explanatory.
Second on that. Yes. And we can vote when you're ready.
Voting is open.
Mackenzie, they're cheering.
Motion carried.
So we have a request from Grandview Elementary that they would like to add two clubs, the Chorus Club and the Bridge Club. So in our policy, we have to approve these. At one time, they had a Chorus Club, and I think it kind of fell by the wayside, so they're asking for it back again. So do we have any recommendation for that? Mr. Walters?
What's the bridge club?
Mr.
Bridge, the card game.
Is that like
The
Okay.
teacher had approached the principal. They have an interest in bridge. They want to teach it to their students, and they thought a club, after-school club would be appropriate, and so they volunteered to do this.
I would have assumed, but I didn't want to do that.
Yes, sir, I understand. Well, with our STEM work, it could be
Right,
building
right.
bridges.
Understand.
Yes, sir.
Understand.
Mr. Fleener.
I make a motion to approve Grandview's request for the course club and bridge club.
Second.
Take your pick.
Huddlestone, I heard first.
Is there any discussion over these?
I say, I'm always delighted to see more extracurricular activities for kids. I think that's so vitally important to keep them connected, keep them involved, and, pleased to see this. I'd like to see a lot more of it.
Anyone else? Okay. Can we vote now, please?
Ma'am, vote is open. Mr. Irvin? Motion carried.
Thank you. All right, the update, on the request from the Washington County EMS portion of the Lamar, there you can see it on the screen.
Of course, Mr. Wheeler's here. If there's anything that you want to interject, please do. We attended the public safety meeting. You know, the Hugh, originally went to Hugh. They suggested our Senate to public safety because it was associated with EMS and fire. And the discussion by the committee, I shared with them the direction and the voice of the board about, you know, the value of the property and wanting to be, you know, some recognition and some good faith return on that and on that value. The committee voted to certainly move forward with acquisition of the property for the intended purpose of the fire, you know, development of the fire station, and authorize the mayor to negotiate the final details with the school board, I guess, or me as the designee of the school board. The discussion in question was, you know, the value that I received, it was based on the comps, and we looked at the area and the general value of property in that area. So comparable property was at $25,000 an acre. So this particular piece of property is less than a half an acre. It's between 0.3 and 0.4 acres. So that's in the neighborhood, if you break that down, the value of that property, if it was sold on the market, or at least estimated value, is in, you know, around $10,000. That's what I told the committee. There was a question by one commissioner on the committee of why would they pay anything when they earned, he was under the impression the county gave the property to the board. So that statement was made. I expressed to them, the reason is the board felt like there needed to be some recognition of the value of the property that would be given, you know, for this purpose by the board. And there was a statement made in the written agreement that we would, you know, should identify the estimated value, make sure that's memorialized in the agreement. And then there also was discussion about if it was in the future not used for the purpose that, you know, it was donated or given for, that the property could be reverted back to the board. So at this point, mayor, we get attorneys involved, and ultimately it would have to be approved by the commission.
So I attended this meeting, and I'm very much under the impression that they wish for us to donate this property to them. Mr. Irvin?
Well, I'm in favor of donating it to them because to me, it's a safety, and I'm sorry, I live there, and that's a mile and a half from my house, and I'd love for a fire truck to be there, sitting there.
Are you
So
putting that in the form of a
I'll
motion?
put it in the form of a motion that we give it to the fire department.
Second.
And if some reason, let me finish.
Sorry.
If some reason it don't happen, then it automatically comes back to the school system.
Second.
I'll be
Any
honest,
go ahead, any discussion, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I mean, there's a value to it. And,
I know that, but I
there's
mean, it's a
nothing
value to me.
I know, but there's nothing we get for free on this board.
Man.
And, I mean, I think, you know, we lost $2 million. I know they're tired of hearing it from our sales tax, but hey, listen, business is business. And I think they owe us money for this lot. And matter of fact, I wanna make, an amendment to that. Well, I won't finish discussion, but I'd like to amend that motion.
Mr. Hammond?
And I understand everybody's view on this, and I'm mixed about it, but we just witnessed what could happen with that bridge gone September 27th. And we have students on that end, but take all that away, I just don't see that we need to, I mean, we all came together for the flooding, and I think this is for community safety. It's right there at our school. But just have it, like Keith said, if it comes back to the board, should anything happen that they want to sell or move to a different location.
Mr. Walters?
I'm just gonna swallow my pride. The money's gone, the $2 million's gone, and if we get it back, we get it back, but I'm not gonna penalize our community for what our commissioners did to our school system. So,
Mr. Huddleston?
I'm in support.
We got any to decide that as far as the repairs that need to be done at Lamar, have we got any type of an idea of a price of what that's gonna cost?
Yeah, it was over $1 million. Probably even closer to 2.
Mr. Barnes?
I've got a lot of heartburn giving it to them.
I do too.
You know, if we need to build a school, and we went down here to the industrial park properties and drove to the county, you think we'd have to pay for it? I think everybody here wants to see this happen, and we've been talking about it 2 months now. You know, delay, there's no reason for delay. If the commission and the mayor get on with it and just do what needs to be done. I think $10,000 is a small price to pay. We need that money, we got a lot of needs.
I agree with Mr. Barnes. I think $10,000 is just a nominal figure for property these days. That's nothing. I mean, it's just a drop in the bucket. That's actually, in my opinion, that's undervaluing the property. I, too, would like to see it move forward, but I think there should be some sort of consideration for it. And $10,000 is, like I said, that's a drop in the bucket. That's an undervaluing the property and the use.
Chair.
Mr. Woody, can I ask a question just for information? If for some reason we had a kitchen fire at Lamar or any type of fire, what is the response time at this point?
Today, the response time would be probably 15 minutes from where they're at the time, and that's only because we have relocated at the Lamar EMS station. We have an ambulance and a rescue unit there. We've relocated our rescue unit to the Emerald Fire Department because of our extended medical response time to that side of the river. That rescue unit now is cross-trained and they're driving the fire engine, so they would respond immediately in a fire engine, and it would still be 15 minutes before they could get there. Fire doubles in size every minute that it burns, so you know, if it's this big in 15 minutes, it's going to be. Once Taylor Bridge is opened back up, we will relocate our rescue truck back to the station, and without this building and that fire apparatus there, now your response time would be 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes, once they get a volunteer that drives from wherever it is they might be to the fire hall to get the fire truck. So it could be, I mean, we have documented, there was a house just across the street on Arnold Road that I believe Jonesboro was the first fire truck on scene. So this, you know, if this happens and we're able to put those fire trucks there, that rescue unit will still, and so your response time would be seconds from that station, because the paid staff will be there and they'll be responding from there once that building happens. So today, 15 minutes. You know, and the reason we'll move our rescue unit back there is if you look at the response area in the zone, that's more centrally located for everything. And it's not, you know, it's not because the fire part's not important, but it, you know, where Emerald's located on a very far edge, you know, they're closer to Unicoi than they are to much of their fire zone. And so, and that's the same for our medical response zone too. So we would move that truck back to Lamar Station once that bridge construction is complete. If we have this approved and when we're moving forward with it, we would probably delay that until those fire apparatus are moved back there too. But if this project doesn't go forward, then we'll have to relocate that truck once the bridge is back.
Ms. Rogers?
So what's the, like, if you got this go ahead today, what's the turnaround time for there to be a
Once the,
permanent
you know,
fire?
obviously it'll have to go, public safety approve the funding for the building contingent on the property agreement going through. So I would expect if everything fell in place, through commission this month, Miller Construction is ready to start as soon as we give him the go-ahead. And so we would, he said that he's thinking 90 days he'll have the building done.
Okay.
That, so of course, would be some dependent on whether it can't pour concrete with it, you know, below.
So there's not a fire truck right now at the Lamar EMS station?
There is.
Okay.
We relocated one of their engines there when we moved our rescue truck out,
Okay.
but it's not staffed, so you
Right.
have to wait on a volunteer
Gotcha.
to get there to take that truck.
Understood.
You got it inside now because of the weather, right?
Right. It's inside now.
Yeah.
That was another reason when we relocated, it freed up that bay space, so the truck's inside now at the Lamar station, but it would require a volunteer to respond, and if a fire came in today, we would respond from Emberville in their fire truck from their fire station. There's a chance a volunteer might get, you know, to the Lamar station quicker and respond, but, you know, it depends, are they at home, are they at work, or what time of day is it? You know.
I'll just say one more
Mr.
statement, $10,000 is not worth a life, so.
Mr. Huddleston?
Yeah, two wrongs don't make a right. The county commission already did a wrong to us. I don't think we need to do a wrong here to add to it, so I'm supporting it, Keith's motion.
Mr. Flynn?
I'd like to make an amendment to the motion, please,
Yes, sir.
for $15,000 for property.
Do I have a second for the motion?
My second for that, man.
Any discussion on the amendment? So let's vote on the amendment to the motion.
So this is your amendment we're voting on?
Yes. So to be clear, we are voting on the amendment that Chad just made,
$15,000.
$15,000 to the motion.
Property, right.
Yes.
Voting is open.
So I vote no. Because we're not up. Oh, wait, there, wait. There it went.
Motion failed.
Motion failed. So we will vote on the motion, the original motion, which is to donate the property to the EMS station. Yes, sir.
Just want to make a comment. Mark this down, you can write it on the carpet, you can write it on this desk right here. If we ever get anything free, I'll come back and erase it off our.
I want to make a comment.
Absolutely.
What, I have no problem giving them the property whatsoever for the use. What I have a problem with is we're just asking for very nominal consideration for this. And then turn that down, that's just bad business. That's just bad business for the people right there.
Before you vote, if I may make a statement, you know, Dan's already gotten, a survey completed of the site, and then there's some deed work that's been.
Mr. Counts is our staff attorney, he does lots of property.
So we're preparing all of that documentation for it in the event, okay.
Is he doing a quick deed, or do you know?
Well, it would be a quick claim if we did donate it to them.
Okay.
Will I have to add this motion to be returned to us since we're donating it? Or was that?
If you would have to amend, for that to be included in the motion, you might have to do an amendment.
Chair, I'd just like to ask the director, your estimate of the time delay if we get paid for the property versus donate.
Well, I think, if the board acts tonight to donate and transfer the property, I think it goes to the budget committee next week, and then they start, if they approve the funding for the construction of the building, then it moves on. If not, it would be contingent upon the property exchange, and that would hold that up. I think they could start construction sooner. I don't know a timeline, but I think they.
Are we think we're talking 6 months or?
I don't know.
a month?
I don't know.
So, since we are voting on donating it to him, I would like to amend this motion that the property that we are donating fall back to the Board of Education if EMS ceases to use it.
That was in my motion.
It
Was it? I didn't hear you.
Yes. Okay.
Okay,
My
never
fault.
mind, that was in his
That was
motion.
in my
I will
motion.
okay,
That
thank
if something
I
reason
did
it
not hear
don't
that.
happen, then it automatically comes back to us.
Okay, all right. Then if there's no more discussion, we can vote.
Hold on a second.
Oh, sorry.
So you said, and I'm just clarifying this for me and maybe somebody else, you said if this deal falls through,
Okay.
that it
Then
comes
would
back
come
to us.
No.
So what happens, we need to put an amendment out, so if EMS one day dissolves their station there at some point, and that they can only sell the land that they have
Yeah, that,
in the
Or
beginning,
they
and
build
the
that
other
property
part that
would
we're
come back to
giving
us.
comes back to us.
yeah,
Even if it's 30 years from now.
yeah.
So that needs to be, can I put that in the form of an amendment?
Well, I
It's in
mean,
his motion.
Or do you want
that's
to?
in my motion.
It
I
is?
mean, whatever
Yeah.
they
Okay.
build there, it automatically
Okay.
comes back to us and whatever.
I just want to make
That's-
sure.
I mean, we're donating it.
So
We
you
might
capture the full intent of your motion.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we'll have storage building.
I just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Okay, let me make sure I get this correct. We donate the piece of
But
property.
we all know
for
it's
EMS
not gonna
substation.
happen.
If the
I mean,
deal
it's
falls
gonna
through,
be-
Property comes back to Washington County School.
I feel like they'll keep the fire station there, or the rescue
Okay.
squad there.
Okay.
I hope they do.
All right.
Okay.
So we're back to the original motion.
Yep.
And can we vote, please?
Yes, ma'am. Voting's open. Motion carried.
Motion carries. Budget amendment for the general purpose school budget?
One item before that is the budget calendar. It's that time of year. We just prepare a timeline for the budget process for just formal action by the board, propose it to the board, and just ask for your consideration of approval. If there's anything that you see that may need to be clarified or changed, certainly we can do that, but that's why I have draft on there, but I'm requesting you just to approve this proposed calendar for the budget year.
Let me ask a question.
Yes, sir.
Judge. If we start missing a bunch of school, is there a chance we might take spring break?
That'd be the last thing I'd recommend. I
Okay.
mean, if we get in dire straits, it'd have to be a discussion, but I think we're a good ways from that conversation
Okay.
right now.
All right.
But, the month of February could be a hard one.
Yeah, I mean,
So
we ain't got through January yet.
Right. But, I mean, that's always a consideration, any year if we were to get to the point we exceeded our available stockpile days. Those breaks, people would probably prefer to take the break than extend the school year. So if we have to have a conversation, that would be included in the conversation.
You would have to, once our 13 days are up, which would be, like, tomorrow will be our 12th, is that what I understand?
Right, for example, if the weather does kind of develop and show up like they're saying, the likelihood is with the temperatures, Monday's gonna be, a good possibility will be closed.
Correct.
That'll be day number 13. So any day after that will be beyond our available stockpile days.
And that is when you have to apply to the state to be excused.
Each day after that, once we deplete once we deplete our days, then we apply for a waiver for each day thereafter, a waiver of the required number of days in instructional days. And then the commissioner considers and approves each request.
But it's
So
for
if we go
every
into
single
day
day.
14, and then we go into day 15, each of those days, I submit a letter requesting her approval or consideration to waive those days
Do you know how quickly that response comes back?
very quickly.
Thank you.
And even if it doesn't, I mean, we're gonna continue with school, but
Right.
we would know within a day or two. And generally, they try to be, in the past, they've always tried to be very responsive. It's a very easy process. They get an email with us from a superintendent. They make a decision, they report it back to us.
Yes, sir.
Did you want,
Back in 2009 and 10, when I was working for Johnson City, they faced this, and they ended up having the kids come to school for a day on a Saturday. Have you been involved in any
I mean,
systems
in
where
my,
they come Saturday?
yes, and it's very ineffective. I mean, you're just basically checking a box off. People don't come. Some do. The ones that always show up, show up. It's not ideal. Now, if you're in a situation you have to do it, I mean, you have to do it, but I would want to explore other options before we were to do a Saturday makeup day. But yeah, it's done when it has to be done.
Mr. Fleener.
you want a motion to approve the budget calendar?
Yes, sir.
Also move to make it.
Mr. Fleener, Mr. Roy. Any discussion on the budget calendar? Let's vote, please.
Voting's open.
You should have with you the resolution of opposing the Governor Lee's Education Freedom Scholarship Act in front of you. If you've got, I hope you've had time to read it. Is there any questions about that? Yes, sir.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Fleener, Mr. Featherston.
I want to speak to it as well.
Any discussion?
Yeah, back when we originally took the position on this last year, was one, as well as a lot of people here, that vehemently opposed anything along these lines. And now we're back facing, well, what I consider to be the same thing. Maybe some of you saw in the Johnson City Press the letter to the editor that the governor sent trying to highlight the reasons why it needs to pass. He cited the idea of a specific student who was able to use this procedure, and he greatly improved everything that he had to do by doing and moving to the private school situation. But it also included the student having an advisor, a mentor. I don't think there's anything in the plan that's guaranteeing any child that's going to take the voucher plan to have a mentor or an advisor assigned to them. One of the reasons why that person's scores increased or even much better. They're flouting out a $2,000 bonus for teachers. To my knowledge, that's not going to be a $2,000. It's added to the salary schedule. It's a one-time payment. And average teacher salaries in the state of Tennessee are below the national average. So it's a carrot that I don't think teachers are going to be dining on anytime soon or supporting. He talked about replacing monies and the idea that public school systems will not lose monies if students leave the system. But there's no guarantee that beyond this first year that that's going to continue. We're going to have a new governor in 2 years. We're going to have new senators. We're going to have new representatives. At a drop of a hat, they can change their mind, and all of a sudden, we're not going to make up that money that the public schools leave, when the students leave, that we lose. A final thing, adding to this, is that he wants to take money, certain amount from sports betting, and use it to repair and maintenance of the schools around the state that are in a decaying system. It's ridiculous. It's something that the legislature should have been doing for the past 10 years in dealing with this. Now, all of a sudden, we'll go ahead and do it, but you've got to go ahead and approve the vouchers. This plan is ridiculous, and once again, I'm glad that our board is going to take a position, at least I hope it will, totally opposing it.
Thank you, Mr. Hiddleston. Anyone else? Mr. Barnes?
Yes, I'm very much in support of this resolution. You know, I hope our legislators will look forward, think about what the impact of this may be generationally down the road, and what it will do to public education, and how it is potentially going to create a two-class system where the haves can get a voucher and go to a private school, and the have-nots, or the typical family, they're going to be stuck in that public school. Well, that's my fear. So I really hope that they will get off this and put as much energy into helping public schools in the state of Tennessee be strong as they are in this voucher giveaway.
Amen.
I will say, just a few updates as different legislators go around and try to, I guess, foster support for this upcoming conversation and bill. You know, it's almost like it really is very similar to what we read about and see happen in DC all the time. There's a lot of things thrown in there. You know, some of them, as was mentioned, some monies for maintenance, you know, trying to attract or sweeten the pot, I guess. And then for some, for years, most of you are probably aware, there's been a bill that's been proposed each year since the appointed superintendent has been passed in the early 90s, and it's failed. Well, they have that in there too, so it's part of the bill to go back to an elected superintendent. You know, my statement about that is, I think an elected board hiring a person that they think is most qualified is the best approach. Not that there hadn't been good elected superintendents in the past, but you know, as far as the business model, it's certainly to me a much more accountable model, because the board is governing and they hire someone to carry out and execute what the board's vision is. That doesn't happen in an elected superintendent situation. There's an elected tension there. But anyway, once you know, those kinds of things have been stated to be in this bill, and who knows what else. So when you get a chance, and I know I'll continue to dig into it, everyone needs to fully understand this. It's almost like an omnibus bill that's you see in DC, you know, at federal level, and they're continuing to throw things in there and pile it on. So that's what's a little scary. I didn't know that Tennessee operated that way, and I'm starting to see a way of operation that concerns me as a citizen, not just as an educator.
Well, in the original bill that the governor put out, was that in there as far as switching to an elected?
I don't think it started out that way, no, sir. So who knows what, and then there's also discussion, just like we did as a state with the literacy bill, of calling a special session only for that, you know, that topic. There seems to be a belief that that could happen as well. The governor can call that special session to take care of it on the front end, and then they would move on to regular legislative session after that. I haven't seen any evidence that that's happening, but that's certainly been discussed. So there's going to be something happen within the next few weeks. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about our legislators?
That's what I was
didn't
gonna
make
ask.
it to the legislative breakfast that we had. What are they saying? What do they feel?
Rebecca basically is saying no. Seems like Tim Hicks is saying yes. And all I can say for Senator Crow is that last year when he was in the Senate Education Committee, he voted for it moved to a different committee. So he basically, as far as I'm concerned, was supporting it.
Sounds like we need to have another meeting.
Well, his office emailed me yesterday, wanting to know, to confirm the board's position, and of course, believing that you were gonna be considering a resolution. I'll send his office, Representative Hicks and Representative Alexander, the resolution, so they'll be clear on what Washington County Board of Education's viewpoint is.
More discussion. Can you vote, please?
But it's open. Motion carried.
Motion carries.
Last
Anything else?
item is a budget amendment. Mr. Hale's here if you have any questions about this mid-year budget amendment. Just requesting your consideration for approval.
Mr. Plant?
Make a motion to approve the budget amendment as presented.
Did you get that?
Who was second, Mike?
No.
Mr. Riddle.
Riddle. Okay. It's been second so much.
Any discussion? Can we vote, please?
Yes. Vote is open. Mr. Holzberg?
Maybe I closed out too soon.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
My fault.
David Hammond? Huh?
Mr. Hammond's gone.
Motion carried.
Motion carried. Everybody's hearts at ease. Everybody saying things.
Just that, did release the communication based on the National Weather Service prediction hitting our region as early as 12 o'clock. And the description and the prediction is when it starts to snow, it's gonna accumulate fast, according to the Weather Service. It'll be coming our way. It could hit Knoxville as soon as 8, 9 o'clock in the morning and just head this way. So we made the decision to close tomorrow, and I think as you will look on all of our media outlets, you'll see that the region is I guess unified on school closures.
Yes, sir.
Just wanted to say an extra special thank you for the job that you've done this week. It's not easy, and I wouldn't have it, but you have done an excellent job.
Well, thank you.
Just wanted to give you some encouragement.
Appreciate it. It's a tough one, if we're gonna make a mistake, we're gonna, even if it does look foolish like today, hopefully, I made a joke that people wore sunscreen today and they didn't get sunburned.
That's it.
But, we didn't want to repeat the event of Wednesday morning, and we wanted to give families an opportune time. But, it's tough, and you're gonna miss some, but if we're gonna miss it, I certainly always want to err on the side of safety.
Absolutely. And in this dark world, I just want to be a little light.
Thank you.
I would second that remotion. You're not gonna make them all happy.
Never.
They trying.
No, sir.
Do what they try to move on.
Not.
And, I'll support you.
I don't even make myself happy all the time.